People of Reddit, what are some cool but completely useless talents you can do? I can eat a lot of pineapples, like 4 big pineapples a day. If I have more money, I'd buy even more pineapples. Isn't it true that pineapples marinate your tongue and breaks it down or some science stuff like that? If true, is your tongue the size of a nickel? I can tie someone else's shoes using only my feet. If you don't mind me asking, how did you obtain this skill? One boring summer day, I kept untying everybody's shoes under the table by pulling the loose laces with my toes sneakily, and when one guy eventually got fed up after having to retie his shoes for the 3rd time, he jokingly said, "Okay, this time you have to put it back with your feet since you think it's so funny." And I just did it. We were all surprised, honestly. I can write in mirror image cursive backwards perfectly with my right dominant hand, as well as write in cursive with both hands at the same time, going in opposite directions. As in writing left to right with my left hand while writing right to left with my right hand, mirror image, and meeting in the middle. Also the other way, writing right to left with my left hand, mirror image, while writing left to right with my right hand, both hands going towards the outer edges of the page. How did you learn that? I've been practicing writing with my left, non-dominant hand for 2 months, but it's still bad. When I was a kid, maybe 10 or so, I wanted to learn how to do it, so I sat down to figure it out and could just do it. There was zero learning curve. Brain's just wired that way, I guess. I can proficiently whistle while blowing air as well as breathing it in. Means I can whistle for much longer than the average human. Sounds like circular breathing. Didgeridoo players did this. Circular breathing, at least the way I understand it from classical music, is different. What they do is store a lot of air in their mouth or cheeks as they blow. When they run out of breath, they breathe in while blowing the air they have in their cheeks through the instrument. With practice, they can do it without a break, though there's always a moment where it sounds a tiny bit snatched. I unconsciously count the time of time-based events. Like, I know when the light will turn green at specific traffic lights, or in the game when an item will spawn on the map. Pretty much the same. I have just a very precise internal clock. When I take a nap, I usually set random timers, like 16 minutes and 37 seconds. Then wake up before the time, start counting at a random number and hit it, plus or minus 5 seconds. Counting seconds also very precise, although I have to admit I practiced. I have perfect pitch, which basically means I can identify a musical pitch with 100% accuracy without having to think about it. Back in college, people would play a song on the radio and I could figure it out in mere seconds on a piano or guitar. I work in IT now, and having musical talent is easily the most useless trait an ugly white dude like myself can have. Lol. Draw. Now, before anyone goes, "What? That's not useless," understand that drawing for fun as a hobby is pretty useless in the end. I don't feel comfortable selling art because I feel like nobody's ever going to be happy with what I make for them. So instead, I pick up a pencil once every 3 months to draw something, and then immediately realise I'm going nowhere with it when I see the absolutely massive amount of better artists than me on the internet that do actually make a living selling art. It's cool, but ultimately a finished piece can take me anywhere from 6 hours to 3 days, and that's a pretty significant time investment when I work full-time now. And doodles are just that, doodles. So, yep, pretty useless. So hobbies are useless in your eyes, even if they make the person happier. I can lock one eye in place and rotate the other one. Can you look left and right at the same time? It's creepy and cool at the same time. I attempted to do it many times, but failed. Yep, it's just as uncomfortable to do it as it is to look at. And how does your vision change when you do it? Blurry and extreme double vision. I have astigmatism, so my eyes try to do that anyway, but it's like 5 times worse. And if I do it too much, I get headaches, so obviously I don't mess with my eyes anymore. I can shake my eyes back and forth really fast. That is bizarre, but could save your life. My brother and I were watching The Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and the girl in it could do that eye boggle thing, and that was when she got snatched and replaced. That's how the guy figured out it wasn't her. Then my brother said he could do that too, and he did it. And I tried it, but I couldn't. So we figured out I may have been hollowed out and snatched by an alien, so my brother chased me with a toy gorilla and tried to kill me. So, yeah, boggling could save your life. I can tell the time period a movie came out within a few seconds. What are the triggers? Film quality, music, outfits? Or you just know every movie ever and when it came out? The first part, film quality, style, pacing, even how the frame is composed. It just screams a bunch of tells at me somehow. Vibrate my eyes equals useless. Raise one eyebrow equals useless. Undulate my tongue equals useless. Point out all 50 states in 35 seconds as a Canadian, 50 out of 50. I can raise one eyebrow. It's not useless for me because I'm a teacher, and it's an effective "I can't believe you're still talking" expression. I can silence a class with one eyebrow. Not me, but my dad can literally mimic any noise with disturbing accuracy. He constantly messes with us, making out notification sounds. One time he made very real bear noises, and I called him and ran inside with my dogs. He answered laughing, and I was sitting there crying my eyes out because he was carrying my third dog, and I thought she was attacked by a bear. I and a friend of mine are both gifted mimics. We can imitate clown horns, crickets, chirping, cats and dogs, and babies crying with disturbing accuracy. This benefits me a lot since I'm an amateur linguist, and I can reproduce accents and vocalizations with haunting accuracy after very little time. I can recognize people by the way they walk. Same, but not really useless for me because it's literally my main way of recognizing people. Lol. It's useless in the greater scheme of things because it's not like it's going to give you a ton of money or a great advantage, but yeah, it's useful in that you get to recognize who someone is very quickly. I'm wondering, since it's your main way of recognizing people, myopia or face blindness? No, but my eyesight has been really bad ever since I was little, and I refused to wear glasses. So I couldn't recognize people's faces until I was close to them, so I developed this. Now I wear glasses, but I'm always focusing on the walk style instead of people's faces. I sometimes know which characters will die in a movie. My funniest example of this type of thing was my partner wanting me to watch his favourite programme. One of the characters in it is a ghost, and I guess it's this big mystery how she died because she can't remember or something. Halfway into the first episode, she said something, and I went, "Her boyfriend killed her." He looked at me like I'd just ruined his life. "How do you know? That's the big reveal at the end of the season." So he skipped ahead to the next season, and I basically guessed that twist too. If you pay attention to foreshadowing and think, what would be the most poetic thing to happen here? That's usually what happens. I'm hypermobile, double jointed if you prefer, in all of my fingers and my elbows. I can, with my palms down, touch my elbows and wrists together the same time, and do this thing where I twist my elbow and shoulder inward, but not my wrist, which makes my forearm sit really oddly. Can't do much with my fingers anymore, but until I was around 13, I could press my right index finger all the way back to touch the back of that hand. That one really freaked people out, and other kids at school would stop me in the hallways all the time just to ask to see it. I had to stop showing people after I switched schools because it got annoying, and not doing it for years is probably why I can't anymore. Ooh, I have a couple of these. I can divide almost any number by 2, 3 or 4 in a very short time and with a great deal of accuracy. When I was a waiter, for the year or so after the credit card machines went mobile, it was then commonplace to bring the check and the machine and then find out how they wanted to handle the bill. So I got really good at grabbing 3 or 4 cards in hand and doing the math right there in real time. I can flip almost any oblong object really fast and catch it after X revolutions. So I can flip, say, a knife really fast and then grab it by the handle. I can't juggle, I've tried, but if I could juggle, I would very easily juggle knives or flaming torches. I know a lot about tarantulas, a lot, an obscene amount. More than is healthy, probably. Related, I'm really good at buying and selling tarantulas at just enough profit to fund my tarantula raising habit. I am really good at making up songs on the spot that scan and rhyme and mostly make sense and are often at least a little clever. In another life, I would have been a killer marketing jingle guy or an awesome rapper. This is not a completely useless talent, as this random habit is very entertaining, and me and my son and wife spend a lot of time singing very silly songs, and then critiquing how good the song was, and then maybe singing a song about how much the song sucked. But it's not something I can put on a resume. I have a very in-depth command of post-war Japanese cinema, which really no one could possibly care less about. Maybe you can get someone to watch Seven Samurai if you're lucky, but that's about it. I know all the French verbs that use être in the passé composé instead of avoir. I have several Shakespearean monologues and a couple of poems memorized, just in case. Man, that seems like too many now I write them out. I can solve a Rubik's Cube in under 2 minutes. I can solve a Pyraminx in under 45 seconds every time, although it's a lot faster to learn than a Rubik's Cube. Took me about 20 minutes to solve it without instructions or looking anything up or consulting friends. I just looked up algorithms to make it easier later on, and I can get it solved in 10 seconds sometimes if it's a relatively easy scramble. I can burp at 3 BPS, burps per second, at any time of my choosing. Would love to be able to do that. Any tips? I'm not sure how I do it, but I'm pretty sure I know how it works. You have these 2 pipes, tunnels, whatever the hell they're called in your throat. One is for food and the other is for breathing. When air goes in the food pipe, you get rid of it via burping. What I do is inhale through my food pipe, which lets me burp. After some practice, you can do it faster. Practice doing sharp inhales and closing off the breathing pipe until you feel like you need to burp. When you do it right, try doing the exact same thing again until you get it. Good luck on your journey to learn to annoy your family and friends. I am really good at remembering people's preferences. I can remember how everyone takes their coffee or tea, or what their favourite soft drink is. I can remember allergies, as well as likes and dislikes. Example: my youngest son's friend that visited once 3 years ago is allergic to peanuts and strawberries. My best childhood friend from very long ago hated hot dogs. A customer at a place I worked at 20 years ago ordered a sausage pizza burnt every Friday. I remember details about people that they are shocked I can remember. I see it as my little superpower. I can purposely blur my vision or defocus my eyes. It's not double vision, but more like if you wear someone's glasses and they have a different prescription than you. The only use I've ever had is being able to flip through books to see how far away the next chapter is without accidentally reading spoilers. I also have very stretchy connective tissue, so I can pull my skin out really far. Most of my joints bend backwards when fully extended. I can clasp my hands behind me and bring them over my head and in front of me without letting go, etc. Zero use, and apparently I'll have really bad arthritis in the future, so negative use. I've got crazy hitchhiker's thumb. Double jointed at the knees too. Me too, my fingers are generally very limber. I used to do this party trick where I flipped them all to the side so they were curled in behind each other, and I tucked my thumb behind my hand. My mum tried it and permanently injured her hand.